hall meeting, and I will ask this of you guys as well. Um, I want to do touch points every month. And so it's a way for us to go through this process because honestly, this is our first time going through a pandemic, and I'm sure it's yours too. And we want to make sure that we are engaging as well as possible and kind of giving as much transparency that we can in the information and where we are. And so there are a few things that we have with that I want to be able to do. So there's a few things we're going to talk about, and I mean brief, so that we can do question and answer as much as possible and get as many questions answered or questions that we have to answer or what I've gotten earlier or what we've gotten earlier or good helpful suggestions that we can do in implementation to make everything better. Okay. And so that's the goal of what the town hall meetings are. And if I didn't say it again, I'm gonna say it again. I do not like calling them town hall meetings. And so you can put them in the chat, whatever we can do. So once you kind of get the idea of what we're doing, kind of give us some suggestions of what we can call these things. Some schools call them coffee with the principal, but I'm not sure too many people who drink coffees at 6 o'clock in the evening. And I do not want to suggest what else we would probably call it because what would happen at 6 o'clock with most adult people, we don't want to do that type of stuff on the call as well. So we want to try to be as politically correct as possible. Again, just before we start, I want to say thank you to every faculty and staff member that's on call, on the call this evening, and definitely let's keep in line what we were doing before and chime in and answer as many questions as we can. So let's get started. Our agenda for tonight um, will be these few things, which is blended environment, food program, and technology. I mess up every time, guys. And technology. So we're going to go talk about the blended learning, the food program, and technology. When I get to technology, I am not going to share the screen anymore or share something else in the screen. But I want to give you one thing and talk about our Chromebooks, and then also show you a certain area on our website that I would like for you to know about as well. From a food program perspective, here's the information that we want to share with you guys. Um, Hopefully I share it right. There we go. That's not it. So, if you go to schoolcafe.org, and you would input the school name. For School Cafe, they named us as Beatrice Mays Charter School. Beatrice Mays Charter School. So once you go to Beatrice Mays, enter in Beatrice Mays Charter School and select the state, you would be able to select and follow the protocol for ordering breakfast and lunch, and you can do that for the entire week. Now, this is not an order just for in-person learning, what's coming up really soon, but it's also for virtual learners as well. So you're able to order your breakfast and lunch for the week. If you are virtual and you want to drive through the dismissal area, pick up your order and drive home, feel free to do so. If the students are on campus, then what you can do is just fill it out, and all students from an educational standpoint will be in their classroom. So breakfast and lunch will be served in the classroom. And so there's no need to roam around or we want everyone to stay as confined as possible, safe as possible, with as much liberty that we'll be able to do safely. Okay. And so we are encouraging everyone, strongly encouraging, pressing that everyone use School Cafe for meals. Okay. The way the meals will go, there are warmers in each classroom, and the order that is done will have a label on it with the child's name on it. And so it's specific to who is ordering what you have ordered and in the process. Okay. If there are any issues, please make sure you contact the front office. You can email Ms. Wilson at the same, as well as Ms. Ward. Their email addresses are fgarrett@bmischool.org or tward@bmischool.org. tward@bmischool.org and fgarrett@bmischool.org. And they will be able to help you and guide you through the process if you have any questions or need additional information for that. Next part is our blended environment, educational environment. Uh, all right.
Oh, accidental press mute.
Uh, there we go. So, what's coming up now soon? You will see these tomorrow, correct, Ms. Johnson? You receive schedules tomorrow. That schedules will be revised because of the upcoming blended environment. Not much. There's some things that I really want to make sure we keep in place, such as devotion. And so I want us to be able to continue to go through our devotional period. As you see now, what students are and experiencing is that it's straight into academics. And one of the things that we're working through how to actually get devotion into practice. But I want us to continue to say the Learner's Creed. I want us to continue to keep knowing the Negro National Anthem, the school song, the things that are paramount to us. By right and rule, we want to do the respect to the state of Texas and the Pledge of Allegiance to our nation as well. But those things that I think that are more near and dear for me in the practice and culture of who we are in our history, Learners Creed, lift every voice and sing in the school song, I want us to continue to do. And so whenever we possibly get back into, and it's the next year, I don't want kids, students trying to learn the Learners Creed or the songs that we have, that we sing, and we want to start making sure that's in touch and in practice as well. Also, personally, for me, just the rehearsal and saying it over and over again, the Learner's Creed, I think is paramount. And so we want to keep those things in practice. And so those things are going to change, but also from the blended environment perspective, those students who remain virtual and those students who are in person, we want to sync those a little bit better, and so that those who stay home are still getting a good healthy experience of what's happening like face to face. Okay, and so in that process, the scheduling and making sure it all syncs is a monumentous task. Kudos to the academic team for working, Ms. Johnson and Ms. Simpson for working through this process, and also the middle school teachers who are going through this to make sure that the schedule is as good as we can make it to be. Okay, and so please be patient with us as we're going through this. If there's changes that are happening, they're happening for a reason, just because we see how everything's kind of flowing and working out. And we want to make it smoother and better for the students as well. Additionally, we're changing the arrival and dismissal process. All fourth through eighth grade, and for this particular session, sixth through eighth grade, will meet. We'll be going through the dismissal area to do drop off. There's a screening process in place, and that communication will be coming out really, really soon. And in fact, I'll let the nurse talk about that in a few minutes. But the screening process is in place. So you would have to do a pre-screening before coming on campus to make sure that you're okay, you're safe. And once you get on campus and we see that you're good with your screening, then you'll go through the process of coming on campus and going through the additional protocols on campus as well. So that will come and be shared with you in a few minutes. And then dismissal, we're not doing dismissal as you traditionally would know it in the past. Students will stay in their classroom. And once you go through the Pick My Kid app and announce and know that you're there so that we can keep social distancing in place, students will be released from the classroom at that particular point in time. And so those things are paramount for us because we're making sure that we're ensuring safety across the board from the time of drop off to the end of the day. We want to make sure that we are keeping our kids, our students safe through that process. Additionally, students will be required to wear a mask while they're on campus and wear their masks for the most part all day. There will be mask breaks. Mask breaks. When you drink, when you are um, having lunch or breakfast, those type of things, and you have to take your mask off for those things. And then just to kind of have a time breaking, the teacher's going to find those appropriate times to do that throughout the day as well. So in the event something happens to that mask, we're also asking, please allow the students to have an extra mask just in case something happens, get wet, um, dropped it, it's dirty, things of that nature. Put another mask on and keep going from there. We do have some masks on campus that we plan to continue to keep in stock, but we want to make sure, just because of not being such a resource hog across what's happening from a supply world, we want to make sure the students have masks. And so the arrival and dismissal process will happen through Pick My Kid. And even for those who are virtual, we're asking that you please register for Pick My Kid, even though you're virtual. So those students who are on campus, definitely we want them in Pick My Kid, but we were asking for all parents to make sure that you go through the protocol, the assignment of completing Pick My Kid. Okay. We've had questions in the past about if I am virtual, can I come face to face? And the answer is no. You will be able to, by the second 9 weeks, 2 weeks before the second 9 weeks, we'll do exactly what we did before. Do the registration for coming on campus, and the students will, and it'll be as an assignment, and the students or you guys will fill out saying what you want to do. I want to stay virtual, or I want to come face to face. Okay. And once you come face to face and you decide I want to go virtual, you can, but you can't come out of the container of being virtual and want to go face to face. Okay. And so part of that, the reason of going and doing it that way is for a planning purpose. Because we're doing what we call cohorts, we want to make sure that we have the students in their proper rooms and spaced and those things. So we are looking for the staffing of the rooms to make sure that everything is safe and monitored. So every student that is in a room will have a teacher in that room going throughout the process as well. So schedules will be changing, and they will be sent out soon this week. And note that the arrival and dismissal procedures will be different. And mask, that we're wearing masks every single day, and bring an extra mask, and to make sure everyone is registered and Pick My Kid. I'll pause here and ask the nurse, Aisha, if you will share about the screening process and just kind of do the hint or let everyone know about protocols for what we have for safety procedures as well.
Okay, no problem. Good evening, everyone. Like Mr. Mays stated before, we have new procedures for our arrival process. And of course, it's because of what we're dealing with the pandemic. And in order to keep the crowds from, in order to prevent crowds from forming and make it an easier flow, because, with crowds, there's an increased chance of, if the virus comes on campus, for it to spread. And so our purpose of doing our arrival procedures and screening procedures will be so we can mitigate the spread of the virus on campus. So you will be receiving two types of communication. It'll be in the same communication, but there'll be two forms. One is the screening process. And so with the screening process, Mr. Mays did mention the app, Pick My Kid. And this is a very cool app. We'll be using it for the arrival process and the screening, and then also for the dismissal, but Ms. Washington will talk about that part later. But in the Pick My Kid app, you will, each parent will, if you haven't done so already, get your app downloaded. And when you come to check your kid in, there's going to be screening questions. And the screening questions, we ask that you answer those screening questions. We ask that you do that before you arrive to campus. If you have those answered before you arrive to campus, it makes the arrival process go a lot smoother and quicker for us and for all the other parents who are in line to drop off their kid. So, and let me say this, when it comes to the dropping off your kid, when you show us your, we know that you've done your screening. K through third, which is different. K through third will be dropped off at the front of the school. We are turning that front parking lot that's in the front of the main building into a K through third drop-off area. And so when you drive through there will be cones to direct you and people to direct you to know where you're going. If our old parents remember, it's kind of like our early dismissal process when we did in the past. So in that same area, we will have the K through third only being dropped off. You'll come in, do your screenings. or have your screenings done before you get there. We have a faculty and staff member who will look at it, check the child off, allow them to get out their car. Then they will go through the middle gate where they will be screened once more for their temperature, making sure that they don't have a fever, and then sanitize their hands, making sure they have on the mask and all, and then they will go to their respective classes. Now for 4th through 8th graders will go through the same process. Parents, you will do the screening before they get there. And then when you go through the back gate, you go through the back gate, the lane closer to the middle school building will be for middle school students, and then the far right lane will be for 4th through 5th grade students. And you all would just drive around like we would normally do, but again, the difference is 2 lanes. And again, you will have your screening done before you get there. You would check, staff member will check to see if you passed the screening or not. And then they will go to their respective places, taking their temperatures, and then sanitizing their hands and going to class. Now, of course, we're going to send you, if it hasn't already been sent, a communication on the exact, or excuse me, more detailed on how that process will work. But as far as, I think you only have 2 questions, and if you answer no to both of those questions, then you're good to go. But if you answer yes, and then we'll have to, we ask that you stay home, and then we'll call and give you further instructions. What's good about Pick My Kid is that I will be monitoring. So as soon as you answer, if you answer those questions at 7 o'clock and say it is we have been around someone, or we are experiencing these things, I'll be able to see that at that time, and be able to give you a call within hopefully a short amount of time. So that's one of the good things about Pick My Kid. It does everything in real time, and we're able to respond like that. But like I said, more information on that will be sent out to you. And I will say, if your child has a fever when we do the screening, 99.8, 99.9, 100, then we will rescreen just to make sure. But then the child, if it still is high, the child will have to go. We'll call you to have the child to be picked up, and and then we'll let you know what we do from there. But all that will be outlined in the communication that will be sent to y'all, to every parent when it comes to the screening and then the arrival process.
Thank you, Aisha. And since we're talking about Pick My Kid, Amy, Ms. Washington, do you mind sharing about Pick My Kids with everyone now?
Sure, Mr. Mays, no problem. Hi, everyone. To just reiterate what Nurse Mays said, yes, Pick My Kid is going to be amazing this year to keep us safe. So once you download the app and do your check-in questions for the day, at the end of the day, at 3:15, you'll be able to announce yourself as here to pick up your student. That's the very, very important part, because that lets us know that you are at our campus inside of our geofence, to let us know that you are close enough to pick up your student. You stay in your car, and your student will be dismissed from their classroom with monitoring of social distancing while they are on the way there. And once your student is in the car dismissed with you, you will get a notification to let you know they safely made it to you. This also stands for if the student is in extended care or after school program, you'll know when they're checked into there and dismissed from their other outside of the car line programs. So please, please, if you have not downloaded the app, please download the app. That is your quick go-to for arrival and dismissal.
Thank you, Ms. Washington. I guess you guys.
If you are having issues, parents, you can email Pick My Kid yourself as a parent. Just let them know our school, your student's name, and your information, and they're able to help you with any issues that you have. That's a perk that we get with the program. And you would contact support@pickmykid.com. Support@pickmykid.com if you run into any issues while setting up or after. Thank you.
I promise you, Ms. Washington is not getting any kickbacks from Pick My Kid, but she sells it pretty well. And so thank you, Ms. Washington, and thank you, Aisha, for Nurse for that bit of information as well. So lastly, just to make sure you guys can see the website on my screen now. Help me out. Give me a thumbs up, somebody. You don't see the website?
No.
Right. Okay, yes. What's up, you talking? You still muted.
We were saying no, we can't see it.
Hold on. Stop sharing. I don't want to share. You guys see it now? Okay, great. All right. So technology is the last bit of information we want to share. And just to give you everything, we ordered our Chromebooks in June. They were set to be delivered August 28th. I did a status check to make sure we're good, and they moved it to September 25th. And it's really due to just a global shortage. Okay. And then we checked, and then they said, no, it's the week of October 5th. And so in that process, Governor Abbott launched the Operation Connectivity. And so Operation Connectivity, we took a part of that as well, and we did an extra 100 Chromebooks. So the school literally has a 600 Chromebooks that's due to come to the campus. We got an email on yesterday just saying the status, like UPS tracking, and it's like which set is going to get here first. So both are due to get here next week. For sure, it's a process of get here, and so we're just waiting for them to get here, and we're praying that they get here next week as well. What IT has done, the IT department is doing, is slated to do 100 Chromebooks per day, because each Chromebook has to be touched and placed upon the BMI domain. And so the login process and all that stuff will happen through what you have as a student email accounts. And so we have to make sure that all of them are touched to make sure that they are set up for our campus as well. And so we're waiting for those to come in and get through that process. So we thank you, parents and students who are hearing us, for your patience, and we're working diligently to get those out there as well. With the 100 Chromebooks, also is the order for the our hotspots, for those who definitely need hotspots. We're also working with other relationships with other vendors to be able to help us in this process as well. And so we hope to be through this process of technology really quick. The second thing that I want to show you on the website, excuse me, if you go to bmischool.org, and you scroll all the way down to the very bottom where you get into the black, you see Get IT Support. Get IT Support. This is actually for parents, students, for support. You would select it, and it will take you to another screen. What you are able to do is that you are able to enter the first and last name, email address, a callback number, and label, title, whatever the issue is. And you can choose to say, oh, well, I want to get an email back or get a call back, or you will be able to do a live chat within the hours in our operation. So you can do a live chat at that particular point in time. And so this is designed to be able to help if there are any issues with the Chromebook, and if there's a need to say, I need to bring my Chromebook back because it's not working, then this is what the process you would follow as well, to say, I'm having an issue with the Chromebook. They'll schedule time for you to come to the school and have a transition to where you would get another Chromebook. You will log in exactly the same way, and every information that was on the Chromebook that is not working properly will be on the new Chromebook that you just received as well. And so this is the process what we have in place, and I want to make sure that you can see it. So just in case, you go to bmischool.org again, scroll all the way down to the bottom till you get to the black area, hit Get IT. It will bring up another page, and then you just enter information, or you can go directly to the chat and start chatting right then and there. And so we wanted to let you guys know that. And again, just say thank you for your patience. Now is the time that we can transition to doing questions and answers. And so feel free, Ms. Shahid, tag your it.